some bits of AEW news in this one, including comments made by MJF, but we will get to that in a second. We start with an update on... start with an update on Will Osprey. Will Osprey, who at one point or another was one of, if not the most talked about people in professional wrestling, but because of his injury, I would say, and because of the fact that a lot of people are looking forward to a potential rematch between Will Osprey and Kenny Omega. But speaking with Christopher Walker of Daze, DAZN, Osprey confirmed that his New Japan contract will be up in February 2024. Add Osprey to the list of multiple talent that will have their contracts up in 2024. I believe the list now is MJF, Drew McIntyre, maybe Drew McIntyre. I can't remember if McIntyre's contract's up this year or not. But MJF, Becky Lynch, and, of course, Will Osprey. This excerpt comes from Fightful Select, who detail out his appearance on the podcast. But he just explains that his contract with New Japan is up in next February. So from that point on, who knows who's not going to put... So from that point, who's not going to want this kid who's dedicated to being a hard worker and wanting to put on the best quality matches. I mean, I'm not going to say that this means that Will Ospreay will likely end up in AEW. I'm not going to say that this means that he will end up here, there, or anywhere. I think if there's any place he will end his career, it is in New Japan. Because New Japan, of all the companies he's worked for, is the one company that he's most known for working for now, and is the only major company to give him a chance to be a world champion, even though I believe it was injury and the pandemic that kind of messed with the timing of him being world champion in OVW. I don't know why I'm thinking about OVW, but him being world champion in New Japan. Speaking of AEW, though, it was found out by PW Mania as PW Mania breaks down the upcoming expectation of AEW Collision on June 17th, which I don't know if that's been confirmed yet, that the new AEW show will premiere on June 17th, and it is not just rumors and speculation at this point. But with that being said, it is a possibility based on the programming structure, the programming calendar, I should say, of Fight.tv, as Fight.tv revealed this week's edition of AEW Dark Elevation was a best of AEW Dark Elevation, which has led to speculation that this was the final episode of Dark Elevation, which would not be a surprise, considering the fact that AEW may have another show coming in June, so they would get rid of one of the shows they have now, which would make sense. Which they would get rid of one of the shows they have now and replace that with Collision. There is no confirmation, but in the description of the the Fight.tv video, according to PW Mania, it said that it was the last edition of AEW Dark Elevation, which again, I would not be surprised by, considering the circumstances. But I've said this before, I never watched Dark Elevation. I've never seen an episode of Dark. So it isn't any, I'm not going to, I don't think anybody's going to miss anything, especially if another show's coming, which is the only reason why they're disconnected. The only reason why they are discontinuing or canceling Dark Elevation is the arrival of AEW Collision. If Collision was not coming, then they would not be canceling one of the shows. Simple as that. But again, there is not any confirmation yet that Elevation was canceled, or that Dark Elevation was canceled, and that it will not be confirmed until, more than likely, AEW themselves confirm it. But let me know down in the comment section below if you will miss AEW Dark Elevation if it does get canceled. And yes, it is a serious question. But if you look at the graphic for Impact Wrestling's next upcoming pay-per-view, which is Spring Slugfest on Friday, April 28th, it leads to some speculation that Impact Wrestling could be talking about the possibility, or speculating the major surprise of CM Punk showing up on Impact Wrestling's upcoming pay-per-view. I think that is just happy speculation on the part of wrestling fans. I don't think that there is any speculation of, any legitimate speculation that CM Punk would be appearing on Impact Wrestling's upcoming pay-per-view. It is just because the graphic of Impact Wrestling's next pay-per-view shows the Chicago skyline, and of course that has led to speculation from some news media that, oh, it's the Chicago skyline. They're speculating the arrival of CM Punk. Technically, with the partnership, if there is still a partnership with Impact Wrestling and AEW, one of the few companies that Punk could work for is Impact Wrestling. Would that ever happen? Honestly, I highly doubt it. Because I don't see Punk going to Impact Wrestling for that. But that's just my opinion. I will point out on Monday, there was the announcement of the new WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And with that being said, I said on Sunday we would break down what I think should happen with the WWE World Heavyweight title and my genuine reaction to the new the newest WWE Championship. But I also wanted to. I will also speak on my opinion of brand. I will also speak on my opinion of brand exclusivity in that situation, or in that video. So we will save that for that video. But now we shift over to one of my favorite parts, and one of the things that I am most excited about, and that is on May 30th at 10 p.m. That is Tuesday, May 30th at 10 p.m. Dark Side of the Ring is back. A new trailer for Dark Side of the Ring appears, and the subjects for Dark Side of the Ring are confirmed, which is Chris Candido and Tammy Sitch, Magnum TA, Adrian Adonis, Doink the Clown, which I'm thinking is Matt Bourne, Junkyard Dog, Marty Jannetty, Bam Bam Bigelow, Abdullah the Butcher, Bash at the Beach 2000, and the Graham family, which is Eddie and Mike Graham, more than likely. I am most looking forward to honestly, I'm probably most looking forward to Eddie Graham and the Graham family, or Magnum TA. Main reason is because of the respect that I have for Eddie Graham and what he did for the wrestling business, and Magnum TA, I'm interested in who they have in the for the documentary, and also what like, is Magnum TA going to be a part of it? Is Ric Flair going to be a part of it? David Crockett, Nikita Koloff, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, like, who's going to be a part of it? And we'll see what happens, because also I just want to point out that there is a possibility of a 2-part episode as opposed to all the episodes being 1 part, which I think that the only episodes that could be 2 parts are Bash at the Beach 2000 and Tammy and Chris Candido. The last news outlet, the last news story we're going to get to in a second, because I just want to say one more time, Dark Side of the Ring premieres May 30th, so about a month away. But on April 30th, this Sunday actually, WWE Hidden or Most Wanted Treasures returns with Steve Austin Takes on America on A&E. It is WWE Superstar Sunday, and it is, for the first time, not including Biography or Rivals, but Hidden Treasures is back, or Most Wanted Treasures is back this Sunday on A&E. But now MJF called out bloodthirsty fans in deleted tweets, and also called out wrestlers, basically for the unnecessary risks that fans encourage wrestlers to take, and that wrestlers should be more focused on winning the matches and getting the winner's purse than going above and beyond and risking their well-being to impress or get the fans to have that holy shit moment. And this has been a problem since ECW, where they keep raising the bar and raising the bar and raising the bar and raising the bar, and making it impossible to keep, they make it impossible to keep impressing the fans, because they set the bar so damn high that it makes it impossible to keep reaching that bar if you keep raising the bar, which is the problem. One of the problems with the Attitude Era, one of the problems with ECW, one of the problems with those deathmatch companies is that if you keep raising the bar and taking unnecessary risks, it's going to risk your talent, and the talent should be more focused on winning than risking their well-being, because the fans ain't going to pay for their medical bills. I completely agree with MJF and everything that he said, and I wish that he would have not deleted it, and that it was his genuine feelings, which honestly I do believe it actually is his genuine feelings, and not just something he said because he's feuding with Darby Allin. I 100% agree that the bar is set too high, and that wrestling fans now have the expectation that the wrestlers will do pointless, useless, shit, like what we saw at, unnecessary, that's the word, pointless, unnecessary shit, like we saw WrestleMania weekend with Dante Martin and Penta. There is no reason why anyone should have allowed Penta to do the Canadian Destroyer off the top of a ladder through that set of tables. There's no reason why Dante Martin should have agreed to it. There's no reason why Penta should have thought it was a good idea. And if Tony Khan knew it was going to happen, Tony Khan should have vetoed it and told them to do it differently if they wanted to do the Canadian Destroyer so bad. If they wanted to do it so bad, he should have vetoed it, because it was an unnecessary risk. It was pointless to do, and it could have injured both men. It's like I said in the past, Dante Martin will now probably be on the show for the better part of the next year, so I hope it was worth it, because there is nothing that anybody can say that would tell me that that was a worth it moment, and that was not an unnecessary risk, a pointless move to do, and it should have been vetoed by anyone and everyone in the match, because it wasn't worth it. And that is the embodiment of what MJF was saying, that they only did the move because they knew it would get a reaction. They were not thinking about the risks when they should have been thinking about the risks. And again, if Tony Khan knew what they were going to do in the match, he should have vetoed it and told them no, because it wasn't worth the risk. It was unnecessary, it was stupid, it was pointless, and it shouldn't have happened. Dante should have vetoed it. Penta should have known better as the veteran, and Tony Khan, if he knew, he should have vetoed it himself, because That's the difference between AEW and WWE. If somebody tried to do that in WWE, it wouldn't have happened and it would have gotten vetoed. Look at the stuff that Liv Morgan wanted to do last year as a perfect example of WWE stepping in to protect their talent and stop them from doing things that they would think they deemed too much, not worth the risk. I don't dispute it. I think Liv Morgan's stuff was more tame and that WWE should have let her do it to a point. But because I think the extent of what Liv Morgan wanted to do was just play with some thumbtacks. But the fact of the matter is, it was unnecessary from the standpoint, and I agree with everything that MJF said, and nobody can convince me of otherwise. But with that being said, I will see you in the next news video.